So I got a new car and a new game. Why don't we talk a little bit about Cyberpunk? Actually, why don't we talk about both of them? Alright, good morning guys. This is Elliot from the 2B Project. I want to say thank you for tuning in to this day's morning drive. I'm not sure exactly what we want to call it, but that's where we're at right now, and it's looking mighty fine. The snow is out. I'm driving to work. Couldn't ask for a better day. I get a couple weeks off. This is my second last day of work. I get a couple weeks off for vacation time over the Christmas holidays, and so on and so forth. I want to send a quick shout out. Sorry, I stumbled over my words a little bit there. I want to send a quick shout out to everybody out there, regardless of what you're celebrating. If you don't celebrate, still have a happy holiday. If you don't take holiday, then have a happy work couple weeks or whatever it is you do during this time. Oh my goodness, this dog's going crazy over here. Holy jeez, it just pulled his owner into the ground. I wish I had a freaking dash cam. That was pretty cool. The guy wiped out. Anyway, it's amazing. Oh, it was a woman. Oh my goodness. Women, men, whatever. When you have a big dog, it'll pull you over. I mean, my parents have a big dog, and let me tell you what, when we go out for a walk, man, that dog can pull me like halfway across the room. Well, halfway across outside. Anyway, let's jump into the action here today. So, first things first, let's state the obvious. I mean, I got a new car. Well, new to us. It's a 2015, so obviously not new, but 2015 Ford Escape, but it only has 100,000 kilometers on it, which is decent. It drives nicely. I'm not complaining about anything. The other thing I did have issues with originally when we purchased this car was the fact that it had one leather interior. It's not, leather interior is not something I get all hunky-dory about. I know a lot of people like it, but I don't. And then, but it does have heated seats. So, I mean, it's kind of cool. But then the space. So I was driving a Ford Focus before, and the difference between the 2015 Ford Escape and the 2012 Ford Focus is that it's still quite tight in here, right? There's not a lot of leg room in the back. My knees are still touching the sides underneath the steering wheels, which is what was happening in the Ford Focus before, But the car's nice, and it's a little bigger, got a lot more trunk space. I had to buy a bunch of stuff for work the other day, and I can actually fit some stuff in the trunk, as opposed to when I was driving around in the Focus. I had to take like 2 or 3 trips when I was going to buy stuff for work. So, all in all, I am getting used to this car, or vehicle, or whatever we want to call it, but it's going to take me a little longer. I do have to admit, though, I did tell Naomi the other day that this was a rather comfy ride, and I could see us going on long trips with this. Though that being said, because we have little Aerith sitting in the back seat in her seat, sometimes it takes up room, and I feel a bit like in the dashboard when it comes to where the seat is. So I may move her seat over to the driver's side, because Naomi usually does the driving. So there's some pros and cons to this vehicle, but overall I really like it. So why don't we move on to our next topic, however, and that, my friends, is Cyberpunk 2077. Now, I don't know how much my camera is wiggling around here, so if it starts to make you people sick, feel free to peace out. But I will put in some time signatures for this conversation today. That way you can skip around to anything that's of important in terms of our conversation today. It's not going to be a long conversation because, again, this is the morning drive and we only talk until I get to work. So it keeps you here and, I don't know if it does keep you here. Anyway, I'm rambling. Naomi doesn't like when I ramble. Okay, Cyberpunk 2077 just released within the last couple weeks. Now, I originally bought that game for the PS4. I didn't buy it. I originally had it on pre-order for the PS4. And before I went and purchased it, there was a lot of stuff coming out on the news, like in the news media, like the video game news, that, and it even hit a few of the bigger outlets too. But the game itself was poorly optimized for most of the systems or most of the consoles, and then I guess it released with a lot of bugs and glitches and everything. And there's a lot of people out there that don't like that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, I can holy moly! Did you see what just happened? I missed the light. That's what happened. Anyway, so there's a lot of people out there that don't like glitches and bugs. And yeah, I just knocked all my stuff off the seat. I'm cool. But it depends on what the bug is. It depends on what the glitch is. I'll show you a couple videos of things that I have encountered. Maybe if I can, I'm not sure. It might be possible. We'll see. But anyway, then it wouldn't be the morning drive. But anyway, the glitches and bugs for me so far haven't been that bad. I've had one instance where my car flew up into the sky after I parked it. And then all I had to do was press the button to call it, and it dropped out of the sky immediately. So it was kind of cool, kind of funny. I'm not entirely sure if the car blew up or anything like that. I can't remember. I don't think it did, because I was able to get into it and drive away. But I imagine it would have. The other thing about the PS4, though, is that the game, actually CDPR, CDPR is CD Projekt Red, the game actually didn't actually show base PS4 and base Xbox footage for the game. Now, I'm okay with that, right? But as a company, don't you think that it should be up to you as leaders and highly respectable leaders in the video game community to give an accurate representation of your game and of the things you're about to release, right? Well, I guess it's just of your game. And that's one thing they didn't do, right? They showed all this amazing footage and had everyone jacked. It was everywhere. This is going to be the best game, blah, blah, blah. And when it released, the majority of players, and, okay, I don't have accurate stats here, so sue me, okay? But there's a good number of players that are playing Cyberpunk 2077, or that were going to play Cyberpunk 2077 on the base PS4 and on the base Xbox. And when they purchased their games, because for some reason CDPR didn't release console footage, when they purchased their games, all these people got all bent out of shape, and rightly so, because of the texture problems. And that was the biggest thing, right? That was the biggest thing for people, was the fact that textures weren't loading properly, and textures were having a hard time, we're just not loading properly. But even frame rate dips, right? There was tons of frame rate issues with the game, and it was just so bad. It was such a bad release. And I originally had it pre-ordered for the PS4. I didn't put any money down. I never put money down on my pre-orders for this reason. But I had it pre-ordered for the PlayStation, for the PS4. And I actually, and I rarely do this, but I actually looked at all the reviews and everything that everybody was talking about. And I went back and just canceled my pre-order. It doesn't make any sense. Why would I buy a game where it's terrible on console? You know what I mean? So I did that, and I couldn't have, this is something I wanted in my PS4 collection, and maybe one day I still want the Steelbook. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to buy the Steelbook, but it's just something that I wanted in my PS4 collection, and now I can't have it because the game was so poorly made. So that being said, I did end up buying Cyberpunk 2077 for the PC. My PC isn't very good, so I'm running the game on medium. But let me tell you, the game itself still looks fantastic. It looks amazing on a medium, on a medium settings. I would think that the game wasn't even by today's standards. Obviously, medium people who can see the changes and the 1080p and the difference between 4K and 1080p. I mean, I applaud those guys, because honestly, I can never tell the difference between that stuff. But I could tell the difference between medium and high, because you could see some of the smoke that was generated, and But the game still looks fantastic. I bet the game would even look like just as fantastic on low as well. But anyway, I'm playing this game for the story, so I don't mind the glitches. The glitches that I've encountered are not bad. I've only encountered really one game-breaking bug, and that was when I was doing the brain dance for the first time. I accidentally reset the playback mode, and it wouldn't let me progress any further. I couldn't do anything else. So the bug, I had to reload my save. So luckily there's an autosave feature. But anyway, the game itself, so everybody's just, smashing CDPR. And I agree, okay? I agree to a point. But there also comes a point when it's time to move on. Time to carry on. Like, the game's been out for 2 weeks, okay? People, get your refund and move on. Like, what's the big deal? You already hate the game. We get it. But now you got people who are blasting on Twitter, who are talking about, who are saying, I'm still running Horizon on my base PS4 and the game looks fantastic. And it's like, who cares? That argument is so old now. No, it's not old, but who cares? Really? I mean, one game, and even CDPR released an apology letter now, and they're going to work on updating the game for base PS4s. They're going to work on, updating the game and optimizing the game for PS4 Pro, PS5, and so on and so forth. I mean, I agree. The game should have never been released for PS4, base PS4. It should have been strictly PS5 and above. But that being said, you can't really alienate all those PS4 players that are still playing on the Pro and the base PS4. And how do you define who the owners of a base PS4 and a PS4 Pro are? Because most games today are just released for the PS4, right? So I'm assuming that the game had problems on PS4 Pro as well. I know I shouldn't make assumptions, but I am. So all that said, people, I mean, it's been a couple weeks now. We've already roasted CDPR over the fire. I think it's time to move on. Don't you? It's time to just carry on. Now, let me tell you about my game. A little bit more about my game. I've put in about 9 hours, and I played the first few hours with the controller, and then I played the second few hours with the keyboard and mouse. And I feel like the game was designed for the the controller. It plays much better with the controller. That being said, though, there are some instances, like when you're doing the playback and the brain dance or whatever, the edit mode, there are some instances where I can see the use of the keyboard and mouse being much better. Targeting is 100% way better with keyboard and mouse, because especially on a lower end computer like mine, because when you move around the mouse, you can see that it's off just a little bit when you use the controller, because I use a USB, so when you plug in the USB, there's still that input loss, right? So when I'm playing on keyboard and mouse, the movement's a little more fluid, and I can actually pinpoint my shots. I can't feel the recoil as much on the weapons, so it's much better. And I know a lot of you people out there are going to be going, whoa, keyboard and mouse, master race. Yeah, okay, cool, I get it. But yeah, the game's awesome. I'm not going to deny. The game's fantastic, and I feel really bad that people on the base PS4 and PS4 Pro couldn't really play it to the best of the abilities. I know I got a friend of mine who's playing it on a PS5 right now. Shout out to Glimsy. Go and check out his Twitch, Twitter, and what else? YouTube. I'll try and post his information in the video here as well. Yeah, that's all I got to say. Anyway, so all in all, my experience with the game, I know I'm going on here, but all in all, my experience with the game has been nothing less fantastic. It's a wonderful game. The story is really engaging, and it's captivating too. And the amount of stuff you can do in the game is unreal. Naomi the other day, she was just like, I can't watch this game. And I said, why not? It's a fun game. She goes, because for the first 9 hours of the game, Elliot, you've been barely following the story. you've been doing tutorials. The game sort of just opens up and says, you know, here are your tutorials, here are your tutorial quests, and then the map opens up, and you get a car in Night City, and it's like, and go. And you really don't know what to do because it's so overwhelming. That's the problem with a lot of games today, is that open worlds are very overwhelming for people who aren't used to them, right? And Naomi, she hasn't really played too many open world games, so I can see her frustration, and I can see, you know, her feelings over the game. Obviously, she doesn't have to like the game. I'm not saying, you know what I mean? So, therefore, in the end, I give this game, for the first impressions of the game, I give it like a number that doesn't mean anything, but for me, it's, you know, like it hovers around an 8 out of 10 for people that like to quantify review ratings. But based on all of my talking and everything like that, you guys can make your own judgments. But that being said, I want to thank you all for tuning in today. Please drop a like or subscribe. The likes actually help, okay? There's a lot of people out there that don't believe that these likes help, but I've been doing a lot of research into the YouTube algorithm, and they are actually helping our videos get more views. So for those who don't believe in them, whatever. But please, if you watch at least a portion of this video, I should actually say it in the beginning too, but if you watch a portion of the video, drop a like if you like the video. Don't drop a like if you hated this video, if you thought I talked too much, or if I think I'm rambling on. Because empty likes, I don't want those either. All right, guys. You can follow if you want to, I guess. We're also on Twitter and wherever else. But anyway, feel free to do whatever it is you want to do. I am rolling into work here. I know this has been a long video, but I needed to get that Cyberpunk stuff out to you folks and my thoughts on it. And without further ado, I am Elliot from the 2P Project. This is The Morning Drive. Thank you for tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you in the next video. And don't forget to tune in to more of Naomi's Pokemon card drops. Okay, that being said, to be